Hi, in today's video we're going to see about RDBMS. Relational Database Management System. Let's see in detail about what is Relational Database Management System. So let's try to understand in a simpler way of what exactly Relational Database Management System is. Example, to break down in a simpler words about the RDBMS. A system that stores data in a neat tables and helps you find information easily using SQL. So SQL is the language that we're going to use to communicate with the RDBMS. So RDBMS is a relational database management system. Now let's try to understand in a more simpler way of RDBMS. Now let's think of an example that you are having a notebook, and in your notebook you have lot of various different kinds of lists in your notebooks, and in each list you will have different lines, right? And all the different lists in your notebooks will contain different kinds of information, and in your one list itself, let's take you have 10 lists in your notebooks. Each list itself will have multiple informations, right? So let's connect that with RDBMS now. So the notebook is RDBMS, that is the database system. So in database system you're having a different list, that is a table, because you're going to store the data in a form of tables. So what are tables made of? Rows and columns, right? Rows and columns. So that is together called as table. So you have a system and you are storing the list in the form of table. So in notebook is refers to RDBMS, and each list that you're going to have in your notebook refers to a table. Let's say you have employees table, you have orders table, you have expenses table, expenses for the month of April, expenses for the month of June, July, so on and so forth. So you have different lists for each month and different kinds of tables. So these refers to table, and in this table you have each line. In this table we have 1, 2, 3. So you have 3 rows. So when you come to RDBMS, this each line in the list refers to a row. This is a row, this is a row, this is a row. And in this row, in this table, you have different columns, each type of information. As I said, you have 10 different lists in your notebook, and each list by itself will contain multiple kind of information in the list. So when you're storing information in a table, you have rows and columns. Each column will have different kinds of information. So this is the simpler way to understand what is a relational database management system. Example, this is a table. You have different rows, you have different columns, you have column name, first column is name, second column is age. This column contains the name of students, this column contains the age of the students. Age of the student called Ria, this is the age of the student called Nitya. So this is overall the information. Overall it's a table. Next we are going to see about RDBMS softwares and different languages in detail. So some of the servers, some of the softwares that comes under RDBMS are MS SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, and I've given a few more examples in the previous video as well. So if you want more examples, you can refer to that video. So I've taken for now these 3 examples, these 3 softwares for example, and about these 3 we are going to see detail about their creator, about what is required to work on the softwares in detail. software or product name. We are going to see about MS SQL Server. So MS SQL Server, who created this software? Who is the creator? Microsoft company created MS SQL Server. What does the product or software created by Microsoft company need to perform or work? So MS SQL Server needs SQL and additional commands. So MS SQL Server is a software where we work using SQL, right? But in MS SQL Server, we need SQL language plus additional commands also. So what are those additional commands? It's called TSQL. What is the full form of TSQL? It is Transact Standard Query Language. So next we are going to see about the software called Oracle. So this is the product of which company? Who created this software? This software or product called Oracle is created by Oracle company. And what do we need to work on Oracle? The requirement to work in Oracle is SQL plus additional commands. Now what are these additional commands? Previously in MS SQL Server, we needed SQL plus additional commands. There the additional commands were TSQL. So we needed SQL plus TSQL to work on MS Server. And what about Oracle? We need same SQL plus additional commands. But here the additional commands is PL SQL. So what is PL SQL abbreviation? It is Procedure Language Standard Query Language. So we need SQL plus additional commands, SQL plus PL SQL to work in the software called Oracle. So PL SQL is Procedure Language Standard. So when I say standard, it is I'll explain you why it is called standard also. It is both are same, structured query language and standard query language, but you can consider structured query language, which is the exact abbreviation for SQL. But I'll explain you why SQL is a standard as well. So for now, let's say it has a structure. So next we have MySQL software. Who created MySQL software? MySQL company created the MySQL server. Now the Oracle company has acquired MySQL company, but let's not get into that part of it. So for now, let's stick to who created MySQL software. MySQL company created. And what is the requirement? What is the languages that's required to perform in MySQL is SQL plus additional commands. Here also we need additional commands. But what are those additional commands? The additional commands are MySQL commands. So MySQL have its own programming languages. It'll be similar to PLSQL only. These are the important things that we need to have when we are giving an interview or to have the basic knowledge. So when you're good at theory part, you will be able to understand the practical part as well. So these are the few details about few softwares. I have few examples here. So to put it in a simpler way, you can refer to this here. So the software or the products I have here and the companies who created these softwares these are the second line, and third and fourth, these are the languages that is required to perform in these softwares. So MS SQL is the product, and who created? Microsoft. And what are the languages required? SQL plus additional commands. And what are those additional commands? It is TSQL, that is Transact SQL. And who created the next software called Oracle? The Oracle company. And what are the languages that is required to work in this software? SQL plus additional commands. What are those? It is PLSQL, that is Procedure Language SQL. And who create the next software is MySQL. Who created this software? MySQL, which is now acquired by Oracle. And what are the languages that is required to perform in this MySQL software? SQL plus additional commands. And what are those additional commands? MySQL commands, because MySQL have their own programming languages as well. Next software called DB2. Who created the software called DB2? IBM. And what are the languages that is required to perform in DB2? SQL plus additional commands. And what are the additional commands? DB2 SQL. Same like how MySQL have their own programming language, this DB2 also have their own programming languages. And next is PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL is an open source. It's a community open source. So open source means it's a free software which everyone can access. What are the languages that is required? SQL plus additional commands. And what is additional commands that's required here? PLPG SQL, Procedure Language PostgreSQL. So these are few softwares or products, and the creator of those, and what are the language to that's required to work on them.